Okay. Maybe that's better now. Fixed the audio? Question mark. But with a T. I gotta. Oh, you know what? Oh. There's literally a mute and unmute button on there. I can hear myself now. Okay. Okay. Learned, yeah. I'm learning something. Okay. That is interesting. And what I... Oh, that's the 950. Woohoo. Desktop. Oh my gosh. The color pre-press. Yes. So, this is Macworld from October 1991. By the way, the website I'm getting this from is vintageapple.org. They have programming books, MacBooks, a few drivers, some Lisa informations. What? I was not... Do you mean this? I was writing a well-reasoned reply. Anyway. Also, books. One of the best books in here is, Everything You Wanted to Know About the Mac. So good. What? Okay. Anyway. I haven't prepared anything, by the way, so I'm very doing this, like, just at the top of my head, because lol. But something came up recently. I kind of wanted to talk about it. I thought it would be interesting, which is... Well, July 92. This is a little bit before they upgraded to the way it looked for, like, the next almost 20 years in, like, 1984. It's 20, probably 15 or so. OCR. Home Office. Ooh. Oh, wait, okay. Can't go skipping ahead now. So I want to see... Anyway, in here I wanted to see if they had any announcements for the Macintosh Quadras 700 and 900. And the thing that kind of got discussed recently was slots, which is a super interesting topic. And what I mean by super interesting is I feel like most people forget the fact that Mac 2s didn't have onboard Ethernet, generally, if ever, and onboard video that they had was generally considered to be bad, except perhaps in like the 2VI and the 2VX. I think those had dedicated graphics RAM, but the 2CI and the 2SI had bad onboard video. The 2FX didn't have any at all. And so here you have this machine, like, widely quoted as costing $10,000, and you need to add a few $100 worth of video cards to it. Which, you know, is just a fact of what it meant to buy a high-end machine in 1990 when the 2FX came out, but it was a little different by 1991. The other thing that got posted, and this is the particular... ad, is that really those prices that we see from Apple being quoted are... Yeah, you could get this stuff in what was referred to as gray market a lot less. Twisty and Tusai. Yeah. So here, like, you still have to call for the Mac 2FX, and I don't think that was the lowest possible configuration, so probably you'd call this place and they would, Applehead. You'd probably call this place and they would tell you what it would cost if you wanted, for example, a Mac 2SI with 8 megs of RAM, if you thought that might save you money versus a 2CI, which was, almost $1,000 more. Or like here, this classic 4x105 wasn't really a stock configuration, so I don't know exactly what they're doing here. 210? Yeah, I don't think they did V Sigma. I think that was, I think this is like a 4x0 config or an 8x0 config to which they've added a 210. I think it's the same with all these 105s, like, generally... Applehead, dude? Wait, was that over here? No. Oh, like up. Oh, was it one? No, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Anyway, that's another common meme in, like, saving money on buying Macs, apparently, is, and I say apparently, like, I just wasn't there, so I really don't know, is you'd buy a machine, with almost nothing, and then either your dealer would install whatever you wanted, or you would install whatever you wanted. Which is kind of easy because most of these machines, the Quadras 700 for example, we can pull up a picture of it. It's basically a little mini tower that you pop open on the side and you can access everything quite easily. So it's pretty convenient. It's Unix, I know this. And yeah, in stock photography, by the way, this is a point that I think is extremely salient that nobody ever notices, is in stock photography, almost always, this machine is pictured with a 13-inch color monitor, which would cost around $600 at the time. At least that's the list price. I don't think people were buying these things and equipping them with the 21-inch monitors, monochrome or color. Which the color monitor that was announced, again, list price. Actually, is that on here? So 13-inch color, $670. Seiko 14-inch color, $595, $600. Supermac 19-inch colors, $1,800. The quoted price on the Apple monitor, the Apple 21-inch color display, was $4,700, so a bit more than half of what the 700 cost on its own. You weren't going to buy a 700 and then also a 21-inch screen, generally, but it could run it. And, I think the other thing people forget here is that in 1991, 256 colors was just fine. You weren't getting anything better out of an Apple 824 GC anyway. You would have need to buy another video card, and I have yet to find out whether, like, some of the highest end, Radius, Thunder, GX 1600 or whatever, if that was out yet. Anyway, so the onboard stuff on these machines were a lot better, and I think that makes up for the loss of the slot in both the 700 and the 800. It had more stuff on board, the stuff on board was better. What is eerie? Oh, that is unrelated. Okay. What's going on there? 7 deals. Okay. It is, yeah. They're very nice machines. I don't happen to have one. I kind of want a Quadra 700. Not because I think I would use it, because I happen to have an 840. And hell, if I'm really looking for performance, I have a Power Macintosh G3. 2 of them. and an 8600 I need to do something with. So it's less about, you know, using it specifically and more about, yeah, right? What it looks like and stuff like that. And it's problematic, but whatever. Anyway, color monitors heats up in the 8-bit world. Competition heats up in the 8-bit world. This is 8-bit color is 256 colors, and they're talking about that being exciting in 1991. So I'm guessing we're going to go to look at these monitors, and they're going to talk about testing them with a particular graphics card that was extremely high-end, probably cost $2,000, and could probably output 256 colors to most of them. The standard at this time was if you wanted 24-bit color, you had to run it at 640 by 480. Which is fine, like, you know, around 5 to 10 years later than this, Outbound, by the way, this is... What? I think that might have been something else. Laptop. I think these were basically like literally SE or SE30 motherboards in a laptop case. I haven't looked into them closely. Beg, borrow, $2,000 laser printer. Frame maker. So like here's a Mac 2 Ci with a big monitor hooked up to it. Most of Apple's own imaging shows those machines with 13-inch monitors. By the way, Anthrocart is like still advertising in Macworld today. I'm pretty sure they advertised in the initial like issue. So yeah. Raise your hand if you ever like went to a place that had some of these crazy carts, because I've been to like labs built out of these carts by unknown. The chat is delayed, by the by, so I have no idea. Oh. The printer, unknown manufacturer. Avatron. Yeah! It looks like it's basically... Laser script. Wait. Oh, I see. This is a comparison between the Apple LaserWriter and this Avatron laser card. I love this setup. This is totally unreasonable, though. Also, I bet that's extremely uncomfortable to sit at. Yes, I eventually figured that out. Frame. You know, if you were using Frame, it might have been that you wanted that monitor. And you know that even in the 700, like if you buy a Quadras 700, it's not like there's no slots. It's like there's 2 of them, and 2 of them is fewer than 3. So, you know what you're gonna do, right? I forgot to look at where we were going in the contents. 2.5-inch. Oh my gosh, pocket hard disks, 40 megabytes for $500. Not owning our index program may have cost you $3,455,946.92. Damn it, that's a big bill. That's almost as much as healthcare. Why do you need 2 slots? See, here's my argument about the 6 slots thing. The people today, generally, yes, the 700 has internal video. The 700's internal video is extremely good for the time. Stock, it can do 8-bit color onto 21-inch monitors, which means 1152 by 870, which using software at the time can generally show 2 full pages. Or 24-bit color on a 640 by 480 monitor, which, again, in 1991, you wouldn't generally have anything that could make 24-bit color. And you'd probably need a lot of RAM. So I think today, in 2018, the thing people are doing with 6-slot Macs is that they're brain slugging them, and this is the 2FX in particular, is they're putting radius rockets in them so that they can make a 40 megahertz 2FX, pretend to be a 25 megahertz Quadra 900, and they're putting in all of these high-end cards that don't necessarily always work well together, like the Jackhammer and the Silicon Express 4 SCSI card, and you know, all these Radius rockets, which are almost never proven to be stable. And video, and you have 2 slots. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable for that machine. That's my point. And, you know, if you're going to brain slug a machine, do it with something interesting, like get a Symbolics card from Texas Instruments or Symbolics themselves. But, like, exactly, you could put an accelerator and a video card, or you could put a SCSI card in here. There's PDS video capture cards, like you could put the video spigot in here. There's a lot of things you could do with 2 slots. And the kind of the thing about 6 slots is that it sets up an unrealistic system in that you're talking about a machine that cost $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 before you added anything, and then, you know, 1 or more monitors that cost $2,000 to $5,000, just depending on where you're getting them, and what you're doing, and yeah, exactly. And then, you know, a network card probably, and then a SCSI card, and then a video capture card, and you fill this machine up with all this unrelated stuff that no one would ever had all of those things in one machine. I said video spigot. Scanner, typist, plus graphics. Now graphics. Oh, I'm sure that would have come. Let's see, DuPont? At first I thought that was going to be a Radius ad, because those look like Radius displays. The art, oh, that's cute. So it is a Radius ad. Oh, I don't know why DuPont is in there. They must have made something that these use. Accessories. What's all this? Ah, sorry. I'm getting texts. Mac Bulletin. 21-inch monitor. Oh, this is beautiful. It's 55. Yeah, that's more than I have actually seen it quoted for. $5,550. The best names for Accelerate. Inboard 386 is a pretty neat name, actually, if I'm arguing for or against it. Thunder 8 and Thunder 24. Accelerate on. The thing that they don't say about the Thunder 8 at $2,000 and the Thunder 24 at $5,000 is whether they can do 24-bit color at the full resolution. And if it can, look at this, $5,000. So you've got a $10,000 machine, and then you've got a $5,000 video card and another $5,000 monitor, and you're $20,000 in the hole, and you haven't even bought a keyboard or software yet. Which was, incidentally, and I don't have them right here, but that is what Silicon Graphics was looking at with the Indy. I found an article in InfoWorld that was pretty explicit. Silicon Graphics is building the Indy because they want to pick up the high-end Mac market. Granted, for the base cost of an Indy, you also got an 8-bit graphics card, and you had to upgrade that. May deal with Microdec. High-speed modem at 14,000. Shiva hublet. Single with a hublet. Oh, cute! It's a mini hub for $400. Database publishing. No rad. Oh my gosh. Look at this, like, anti-radiation screen. That's beautiful. Anyway, if you go on published retail prices, or like what in 1990 all these 030 machines were going for, it was an extremely good deal. But if you go by like this, you know, January 1992 price list where an LC, or sorry, the 2CI is in fact $1,000 less than the 700, then it kind of, you can make the case for getting a 2CI and a video card, right, although not if the video card's $2,000. What does it all mean? Oh, Y2K article in 1991. You could have, by 1993, for sure, when the Indy was introduced, the Indy was explicitly targeting a $5,000 price point, although I recently read an extremely interesting series of articles. At $5,000, an Indy with 500 megabyte disk, I think, and 16 megs of RAM literally did not boot. IRIX would hang because IRIX can't boot in only 16 megs of RAM. What's being said over here? And I question, like, if we're talking about retail versus gray market pricing, I wonder how that affected the Unix vendors, because it could very well be that a gray market SGI Indigo with no support might have gone for a lot less. Will the Mac go away? Who knows? Canvas. Denaba. Mac table from Scanfern Co. Love it. Plus, the other thing to think about here is that if you're looking for high-end computers, there's a lot more than just SGI and Sun. Although the other thing to think about is most of them didn't have an awful lot of graphics cards. Not graphics cards, graphics software. So yeah, you can put 24-bit graphics at 1152 by 900 or whatever the Sun resolution is, but it is going to cost you, and there's not going to be, like, you know, there'll be the bad Mac port of Mac version of Photoshop, maybe, by 1993 or 4, so. And honestly, that's why the Mac won, is because the software just wasn't there. Adobe and Macromedia were like, we can't, and Aldus were like, we can't do it. HP's another one, and again in 1993 they had a real neat machine targeted around $5,000, which itself succeeded next, and probably had a fair bit of graphics software available for it. 48's a reasonable amount. My Indy, when I had it, was, I think I got it as a 100 megahertz unit, but I immediately put a 200 megahertz 4400 into it, and I had 256 megs of RAM, but only like a 4 gig hard drive, which is more than it had new. It would have been better if I could get more disk, faster disk, second disk, but none of the SCSI Mac stuff I had worked and was big enough, and I didn't have enough money left after getting the Indy itself. Motoring? See, all this stuff is real and how to be social. I like this Mac 2SI with what's clearly a 2-page display. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody bothered that. Yeah, see, I would want for an Indigo 2, that's about how much I'd want. My Octane has 384, and that's fine. I want to get like a 64-bit amount because the machine can run 8 gigs, which I think would be extremely entertaining to do on this machine from 1997 with this OS from, like, this is for a modem that's great, run 8 gigs of RAM on this desktop from 1998. This is broadcast video out? Everyone's all like, you weren't doing NLE on a Mac, and I'm like, you kinda could. Oh, it does, doesn't it, though? All things being equal, except for that they're not. Oh, you NEC. How much was this? Silent Rider 2. They don't say. Oh, yes they do. $25.99 and $24.99. Those are only $100 difference. If you're a Mac user, even if this personal Laser Rider NT was slower, you might well have gotten it instead of this NEC just for compatibility reasons. IBM believes these computers have some redeeming value, but only until January 1. Oh, I see. You could trade up to a PS2. 448, think that's not enough for IRIX. How are you gonna do it? PS2 it. What all are they listing here? Oh, only 35, 55, 57, and 95. If I never get it to work. You could take the Sims out and count them. Ugh, Rastrops. Does this list prices? 24XL TV. Live video and built-in acceleration. How much is that? They don't list it. I bet that cost $7,000 for that card. Video and quick draw acceleration. 24-bit. Who knows how big. Art beat. Oh, that's right. They took like artists and asked them things. Yeah, Macworld used to have like a lot of really detailed like professional content, essentially. Like, here's this detailed interview on how this art was created. Ah, hello. Apple System 7, 99 bucks. Oh, Power Cache 030. C-line listing. Okay, where was that then? Video, learn, CD, Mac Connection. Oh, this is extremely different from the later Mac Connection ads. Hayes Modem 150. That's actually a Star Connector, 10 packs. Oh, that's the one connector. You'd need the Star Controller, 800 bucks for 900 for the Fairlin PhoneNet Star Controller. The second. So there's an awful lot of delay, so you'll have to be like, you can't just pronoun things, I'm sorry. I need to know like what they is that aren't labeled. Is it the PS2s? Modems. Cash in. 200 bucks. For what though, I don't know. Advanced Gravis. That's hilarious. It's $130 for a keyboard. 15-inch monochrome monitor for Plus. Ethernet. Woo! Honestly, I would say Ethernet's more valuable on an SE30 than an accelerator, if only because you can buy faster Macs. Power Cache is a name. It's a cache. I didn't see the hardware, the cache. Well, oh, here's the cache in. That's right. Shiva. Oh, there's more. Toner cartridges, disc labels. 630 disc labels for 30 bucks. That's kind of neat, actually. I never got... Oh, 90 meg Bernoulli. 800 bucks for the drive. Requires kit. Okay. Okay, that was all good, but we're definitely looking at storage now. Discs, DDS tapes. One 60-meter tape for $18. That's 1.3 gigs. That's it? No more... Oh, here we go. Quicksilver accelerator for the 2SI. Speed and extender cache card. 68882 math coprocessor, $309. So I just always wondered, like, who bothered with that right away? 40 megahertz power cache 030 for $949. Is that like a replacement 030 as well? 50 megahertz power cache 030 for everything except the 2FX, including the LC, 1,700 bucks. Pocket Hammer 200. Omega. Oh, here we go. 3-pack of the discs is $439. Ouch. That's a fair amount. That is definitely not to casually hop on over to the Staples and buy a pack of them whenever you want. It makes sense. Get it? Like pennies? I've always wondered, like, these... So this company, Cybernetics, like, they're definitely showing, like, writing 25 gigs. And I'm like, to what? Why I'm blue. This is probably an article about how bad Apple is, or how good IBM is. Okay. Quick SCSI mirroring continuous automatic backups. Except we know that disk mirroring isn't really backup. I'll see it. Oh yeah, I really want to know more about those, and I've never bothered looking because I'm lazy. Oh my god, Gantt charts. Look at them Gantt charts. More scanners. This hand scanner thing must have been real popular at the time. I wonder how many people actually bought these. See the difference? So the scans of this magazine are bad enough that I don't actually see the difference here. Like, I can sort of see the difference, but it almost looks like they're both pretty badly blown out anyway. What? Apple had... Oh. The drives I was talking about were definitely... I don't know if MO existed at this point, or if it was commercialized yet. Oh. No, there's not MO drives. This is 1991, and we're still on Bernoulli. Universe Brain is Bernoulli right now. The Macintosh on your desk. Oh, look at this. Macintosh OS 8.5. It's like a whole new computer for $99. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one, but I've never looked because I never thought that it would be a good idea. I have always had access to cheap flatbed scanners, mainly for PCs, so I've never bothered with more difficult to use or smaller things. Electromagnetic upgrade. Oh, this is about monitors. Service hero? Correct those problems. Aw, cute. Video training. The only thing we have to fear is buying a slow computer. A boring presentation, or that. Laser Master. Oh, okay, well, it might not have been on the Mac then. We'll see. I always thought these were crazy-looking modems. This stuff existed until, like, I think this form factor was in use for a while. PageMaker 4, $500. The original Photoshop, $500. Fine, fake. Next had it. I don't think Apple had that particular version. Yeah, I know. Alarming events. Ooh, that sounds like a bad game name. Computer luggage. Love, like, bags for computers. More teleport. Fax. Oh my gosh, this is an actual fax machine that you connect directly to your Mac. That's great. Viva modem for Mac. You know what's really interesting about all this stuff is that there were a lot more computer companies in the 90s. Like, the thing we have today is like social startups. The thing you had in the 90s was Applied Engineering and Daystar and Relisys and Lotus and Aldus and QuickTel, like, to the extent that that's where the money was in upgrade hardware. Can you imagine that, like, buying one of these 88 meg cartridge drives for $1,200? Viva or Via? I mean, they might actually be, but I don't know. Or $700 for a 40 meg one. Ooh, sorry. eMac 20 megabyte impact. $200. I don't know what that is. 150 tape drive. Okay. Don't you mean spherically correct pointing device? Run PC. Interesting take on this stuff. Someone from one of the chat channels I'm in the other day was talking about PC Mac compatibility software, and basically just the fact that most people used it purely to transfer data. Like, in the sense that the Mac Charlie, for example, almost no one was like, I'm gonna buy a Mac Charlie and then spend a bunch of money on IBM software, in the sense that they wanted to use that. They were using it to transfer data. And that was need that wasn't met well until Nosferatu. Bad Core W or good Core W? So, just kind of an interesting take on that. I continue to wonder, like, what that was like, because I've always imagined people sitting down, doing some Mac stuff, and then going, I need to go use Quicken, which is on Windows but not Mac, and then flipping over to the PC side, or running, you know, Virtual PC or whatever. MacLink. Well, MacLink Plus sort of did. I don't know. I forgot to mention it to him at the time. It was Ryax NB. You can say that to him and see what he says. He must not be around at the time. He'll probably watch later and make some kind of comment about how I'm wrong about everything. Holy crap, a serial transfer cable? I wonder if that's what it was. You bought MacLink Plus, and then you bought a Mac Charlie, or one of those PC cards to actually move data between them. That would be great. Oh, I didn't even notice we were in a Mac Zone ad. Mac PC connection, soft PC. Dana, DOS mounter. So that's the thing, in 1991, too, you didn't have, like, the built-in Apple DOS file stuff. That came later, and you could add it onto System 7.1, I think. Maybe it was in 7.1 Pro. Great works. Oh, okay, I think you mentioned that somewhere. Big deal. Big if true. Hey, look. Here you go. Mac and Windows software. Well, no, I just mean, like, what if you don't already have a PC? And that's the use case for the Mac Charlie being a thing that you literally hang onto the side of an old compact Mac, and it's like a PC AT. And I think it has a serial port on it. Apple File Exchange was... I don't remember when that was. Software updates. Okay, that's neat. Only you can prevent software piracy. Softy. This is the worst. Alt print screen. Paint.net. We're doing this. Control V. I'm just gonna put that there for later. That's amazing. This might be my persona now. Soft. Oh, it's a porcupine. Gosh. Oh, Mac Zone. Holy crap, 64 pages inside the July Macworld. That's intense. And they're like, just go there to look at the ad. I love that, actually. Keep in mind, this is the time at which, like, officially the allowed retailers weren't supposed to advertise prices. And I'm still unclear on whether, like, the catalog resellers were actually legit. Is that what that was? No, this is Logitech. Look at that trackball. Ah? Okay. We're done with that now. Workbook. With free Adobe Font Disk. NEC. This is like a CD drive for your human potential. Wait, Turbo... Oh, is that the... Oh, I think I've got one of those. I don't know. Somewhere I've got a trackball, I think. Strunk and white elements of style. Hello, Very Dragons, who just replied to me on Twitter and said that you're watching. We're looking at October 1991 Macworld. And a lot of it has been ads so far. I'll admit I didn't absorb as a young child exactly how much of these things were ads. Although, like, as a young Corey, I didn't really go earlier than about 1993, 1994 when I was looking at this. So maybe the magazine grew a little bit between then and now. But one thing, even in like 2006, the English version of Macworld in like Britain, huge. Giant. Oh, is that the one? Is that the... Oh, the Curtis Turbo mouse? I had one of those, and I think I used a pool ball in it. Oh yeah, that NEC CD drive. Doubles Bernoulli capacity to 90. Gosh, it's really interesting, because I never specifically thought about this. To think about 45 and 90 Bernoulli drives being competitors to 44 and 88 Sequus drives. Printer? Oh, see, I wish the chat was more, like, real time so that I could, you know, that's probably 20 pages ago now. Software brain. Some people are born accountants. Oh, cute. Some people need to use software on a computer for it. News. 1.3 gigabyte. Holy crap. That is huge. Look at that. That's a giant external. This is probably like array. Range up to $33,000 for the 4-drive configuration. Wow. Series 1300. Well, the original desk writer was black and white. Wait. Okay. A line of 1.3 gigabyte hard drives that work with 2 data cannon. Mac in-store 1300 with 2 drives or 4 drives combined in one case. That is huge. Like, these must have been full height or half height 5¼ inch drives. 5 megabytes per second. The PDS card for the 2FX can reach a sustained data rate of 10 megabytes per second. That's for the drives themselves. The PDS and NuBus cards are for $900. That's insane. Like, oh, do you need a gig of space? I'll fork over the $30,000, please. That's not what I said. Wait, did I say that? I don't know, it's late. Okay, 16-inch color monitor, upgradable adapters. Ooh. Color page E16, $1,500 for 640/40, 832, 1027 by 768. Oh yeah, eMachines made Mac peripherals until like the mid-90s at least. Like, there's some eMachines Duo Dock stuff. %, zooming, NTC video output. Resolution. But the user can upgrade the board to 24-bit color at 832 by 624. How much do you want to bet? XL8 is also upgrade. So $1,500 for Beaverton, Oregon. I used to live near there. $1,500 for 832 by 624, 24-bit color. Like, yeah. Super printer. Keep in mind, the Quadras 700 could do that with the VRAM upgrade, so great works. A ZUC clone? Oh my god. A printed reference to viruses. Zuxi, HC, and NCAM. An NVR clone, a Zuck clone, and it's also a data virus. Causes the Mac to hum oddly. What? This must be like an extension that just plays a sound or something. That's hilarious. Work software, what? Maris Cunningham at work on his Silicon Graphics machine using life forms to choreograph trackers. Ooh. Okay. No more information about that. 2 life forms, one on the Mac and one on SGI. That's just platforms. Greater power, the Mac team arrived, and features unique to its version. Okay, good. That's useful for when you're developing platform cross software. We're not in Kansas anymore. Somewhere in here, there's an article about color monitors. And I wanted to see what graphics card they were using at. Color at a black and white price. Smallest hard drives and other big ideas. Plugs onto the back of any Mac. That's kind of adorable. Pickle that made the system behave strangely. That's great. On one hand, I'm not sad, rather, that I, like, missed... That's an audio recorder. Not sad that I missed, like, the wild age of Mac viruses, but man, how crazy. Quark Express delivers until the late 90s, at which point they stopped delivering. $530 for Quark Express. Strunk and White. Is that like just a reference? It's a handbook. Fun book alert, by the way. Word. Wait, is the Mac is not a typewriter, which talks about using... That's funny. Which talks about using, like, advanced word processing features that I would argue a lot of people still don't use today, like text styles and contents and stuff like that. And it's pretty Claris focused, if I remember correctly. So, like, we could come in here and I'm gonna put this down here. This is Robin Williams, but not the Robin Williams you're thinking of. Make definite assertions. Somewhere in here there's some screenshots, and this is basically like focused on the way Claris programs worked, but most of this stuff you probably could have done in any pretty good word processor. Anyway, back to October. Teleport. Yeah, it's just so interesting how much the aesthetic changed from 1991 to like 1995. 2008. Where was that RAM? I bet 59 was only... They didn't actually say. 4 megs, SE30 to this amount. SIM prices vary. The lady from Santa Fe. Did Robin Williams go by that? That's adorable. I drove to Santa Fe once. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, I still want to open up a restaurant in Santa Fe, but only so that I can sing that song continuously. Keep in mind, I live in the Arizona version of Santa Fe. Flagstaff, our tourist town to the north. Stratavision. How much was that monitor? Super Mac monitor. Come here. Total. See line listings for price. Can I make this one step bigger? I can. Retrospect! I have like Retrospect 2 or 3 or 4. $150. That's a good price, honestly. Mac Classic 1 meg upgrade, $80. Utilities, music. CompuServe, you could order off of CompuServe, that's adorable. Handoff. Word processing. MacWrite 2 was $140. Word 4 was $250, which probably about, you know, Claris software was always Apple saying here's the way it should be, was not always necessarily the most powerful software on the platform. Color, here we go, Mirage. 8-bit color monitor systems. Video, big screen monitors. And Apple, in its own often contrary fashion, has brought out a monitor that's smaller than anyone else's. Ooh, I think they're going to talk about the 12-inch color monitor. Commodity status. You can buy generic 8-bit color boards from one vendor to drive generic 19-inch monitors that are from another, for example. Okay. So the standard in 1991 was definitely 8-bit color. And not even the standard, I would say. I would argue, to a certain extent, this was almost... Oh, plinth. Wait. I got to screenshot this for Nanoraptor. Sorry. I have a friend who pronounces NaNoWriMo Nanorama. And I'm like, that's good, but please stop. Make that a little smaller. Total probably. Okay. Descriptions. 256. One of the interesting things about like 256 color, by the way, on Macs in particular, is that the palette was selectable. So it wasn't like, here's the VGA palette, here's the CGA palette, here's the Mac 256 palette. You could pick any 256 colors out of the known palette of millions of the 24-bit color, basically. Yeah, see, for a given color, red for example, the value O in Apple Color Picker represents all the way off, and 65,000 represents as red as it gets. And that's kind of how you get those I'm pretty sure, actually, let me make sure I'm not saying this wrong. Okay. 256 colors. Yeah, that's so it can display a total of 256 colors on the screen. They can be any 256. I just want a table. It's for less than $3,000. Okay. Look, it's a table. Okay, price of monitor. Oh. They recommend a board for each of these. Again, to achieve 8-bit color. So the Mac Display Card 4.8, which also known colloquially as the Toby, if I remember correctly, $650. So if you have a Mac 2 series machine, you're looking at $1,700 to run a 13-inch monitor, over the top of the cost of the Mac. And that's before, like, I think the 824 GC might have existed at this time. So cool. And by so cool, I mean ha ha ha. They don't list Apple's monitor, which makes sense because it was announced with the Quadras. This is October, which is when they were announced. But it seems like there's a VGA. Was it a VGA LCD or CRT? I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. On the other hand, I'm definitely imagining like this Samsung SyncMaster 3, like good for 640 by 480 that someone bought in the early 90s. That's like they put a NaNoWriMo sticker on it and they were using it with a Windows XP computer when Nano started. Where are those prices again? I just love $6,300 for a Radius Color Display 21. How big are these 19-inch displays? Convergence. I like how there's like 2 tests. Longer bars are better. Okay, so like a particular Rastrop system LCD. The Toby was like extremely basic. So there was a few different cards actually. Let's go to Vectronics because Mac. Oh wait, gallery, print gallery. 87 Mac. I forget which one of these. Somewhere in here, there's like an ad that enumerates all of the different display cards, and it was extremely interesting. Was it desktop publishing? But basically there was everything Macintosh, summer 1989. Okay, so background tab, background tab. Those are the video cards. There's the Macintosh 2 monochrome video card. There's the high resolution display video card and expansion kit. This is the 8. This is the 8, and you can expand it to an 824. Toby is the high-res cars. Okay. And then there's the extended resolution high-res card. I think this is the 8. It's either the 824 or something else. Mesh, of course, 2-page video card, an extension kit. The 824 GC might not have been out by this time. Apple Toby video card. Macintosh 2 video card. Images? See, I've never seen one of these things, so I don't really know. Okay, it was probably this one. Macintosh 2 video card. 824 GC. There's also like a 416 or something. There was a bunch of different, basically, configurations of these cards that you could get. AKA Toby, 12-inch. Holy crap, that's huge. Not compatible with the 660 and only partially compatible with the 840. Ooh. Unaccelerated. 640 by 480 in 8-bit. Without the upgrade, it's 640 by 480 in 4-bit color. So that's like 16 colors or something like that total. It will not run the 12-inch RGB monitor. 704 by 512 on certain displays with a special control panel. Super hacking. Works in the 7100. That's hilarious. Okay. So there's that, and I don't super know all those because I've really never used Mac 2s. I had a friend who had a 2CI, I had a 2SI, but really, and actually I had a Performa 600, but my main machines were Quadras. Low-cost monitors. $900 is low-priced. So this is just everything cost so much. And street prices on these things may have been lower. Macworld had a policy of basically only ever quoting, most of the old ones do, V Sigma. The 824 has it, the 84 has it. There's one that begins with 4, I want to say, like most of them do. So that you can upgrade from like 8-bit color total to 24-bit color total, or 8-bit color, you know, at a certain resolution to 24-bit color at that resolution. But even the 824 GC, what it accelerates is 640 by 480 at 24-bit color, and then thousands at the higher resolutions, and 24-bit at 1152 by 870. So we're kind of talking about like the unrealistic expectation of a 19 or 20-inch monitor in 1991 with 1152 by 870 or more doing 24-bit color, which is to say it just didn't exist. The answer was no. Sorry, you can't. You can display any color you want except for that one. Sandra. Ooh. Detailed article about... See, like, this isn't stuff you really saw in Macworld in the 2000s. It was either presumed that software did this for you, you saw references to whether a particular version of Express or InDesign would do this, but there was no, like, here's how it works, which is super interesting. And for people doing this work, it would be interesting to go look at this stuff. Oh, see, this was kind of a comparison review. Also, Express 3, $800, PageMaker 4, $800. These are double what we saw earlier in the magazine. Someone's lying. But also, it probably, again, depends on where you buy it and how, like, well supported it is. Look at all that. I like how just, like, here's my copy of Freehand just sitting on my desk. Like you wouldn't put that away. You take the high road CPS. Oh, this is the prepress article. That makes sense. Aw, neat. Okay. Navigating the low road. Ooh. Here's how to put your work on a jazz disc. Scanners. I like how they're like, and you get 256 shades of gray. Good luck! Thunder scanning. Turns an image writer. Unfortunately, this clever device works poorly. That makes sense because it was so cheap. Apple Scanner, $1,800. Agfa Focus, $5,500. A gray level, $264. So I don't see anything about color in here. So you weren't even scanning in color at this point, generally. So love it. Thunderscan Plus. That must have been a radio. Oh, Thunderwear. I was gonna say, I wonder if that's a Radius product. Color option. Ooh. The favorite. Oh, so there was a color scanner roundup. $2,000 though. And it probably did real bad. Noise. Yeah. You know, I probably do, honestly. I'm looking at my desk right now, and I actually don't have any boxed software randomly on it. I do have a copy of Retrospect and OS 8.5 and a few things up on the shelf, though. PC VCR. Accurate to within one frame. VHS, SVHS, stereo, hi-fi VCR in its own right. Titling feature. Staggering unrealized potential. Inscrutable manual, programming required to permit Mac control, insufficient poorly documented software. NEC for human potential requires a Mac Plus, $2,100. That's amazing. It's a computer peripheral. See, the thing that would be interesting here is using this to, like, slowly frame by frame capture a video. And that can't be good for the tapes or the VCRs, but that is definitely, like, if you had a serial controllable VCR, Premiere, like, 3 or 4 for Mac will do that for you. Good news, for $2,100 you can buy this thing and then program it yourself. Use control, impose, oh, you use the computer to make titles. It's fabulously useful, except that only 3 styles of type are offered. By programming them. The VCR's own language isn't nearly as difficult to learn as, say, Pascal. Everything is a coded 2-letter command followed by a number. Oh. So it's more of a scripting language than a programming language, but that's still really intense. And by intense, I mostly mean bad. I wish there was information on capturing in here, but, well, it's $2,100 for a goddamned computer controllable VCR, to be fair. Doesn't. You use on a VCR. Oh my god. Color, okay, also it's beige, like a Mac. So, you know, what you gonna do, right? SVHS. I didn't know SVHS already existed in 91, but I guess it did. Oh my gosh. It adds time code to the tape, so you've got a tape, you run it through all the way, and it has added time code. Most valuable tapes, and nobody but the PC VCR will ever know that it has been modified. This notice tapes. Ah, neat. You don't have to duplicate tape to add code. Oh, regular time code, SMTTE. One of the few drawbacks is the VCR doesn't actually read the time code when rewinding or fast forwarding. When it's hunting for a particular frame code address, it zips to a point just before the spot you've specified, slips into play mode for a moment to get its bearings by reading the time code, then zips some more, and so on. That sounds bad, but it also sounds amazing. The thing I want to know is whether you can, like, import, oh god, you have to use a terminal emulator to talk to it. So it's a regular VCR that you can talk to with a terminal emulator. Hi, David Pogue. Recording programs. Oh, yes. Love it. And by love it, I mean, of course you would spend $2,100 on a program, on a VCR, so that you could use Telnet to program it. That's amazing. Gosh, that's huge. Mac Avenue. Ooh, another outbound. Use scanner, more printer. TI, that's from a company we have heard of. Nuvo Ethernet performance over SCSI. Which is to say, the Mac's networking stack is so bad that you'd never notice even if it was over SCSI. Fontmonger. 800 DPI scanner. Quick Image 24. Non-standard interface. What does it do? Wow, is desktop video taking its sweet time to arrive? Even a task as simple as capturing a single frame of moving video onto your screen requires a new bus card costing nearly $1,000. So I'm presuming the Spigot didn't come out by then. Or, if it did, it was $1,000. Huh. Still video camera like this, the Canon Zapshot. See, that would be the big use for NTSC video in this era, is importing pictures from one of those still cameras. 8 great apps, locations, great works. This is so great. I like how Chart is a separate program from Spreadsheet. Comms outline, separate from writing, which I can get. You know, so here's the thing about computer controllable videos. That particular VCR would be extremely useful if you had, say, a Panasonic AG455 or whatever, and you wanted to capture video to it from your Mac. Hypothetically, that drive, coupled with Adobe Premiere, should, fingers crossed, mean that you can basically do video capture non-real time in that it'll capture 3 frames real time, and then it'll have to go back and come back. But that's a thing certain VCRs could do. That one probably is one of them. Useful today, not useful in 1991 yet. But, you know, worth thinking about. Claris Resolve. Have I told you how much I love Claris Resolve? I really like Claris Resolve. It's the weirdest thing. Pseudo color. Real color. Info. Oh, this is beautiful. I don't have this particular one, but I do happen to have a Proxima Ovation 944, and I think it does support either 256 or thousands or 24-bit color. And it's definitely a 640 by 480 LCD panel that you put on overhead. Cash in 50. Quicksilver. Cash in. High performance. Ah, okay. Gosh. This was like, you'd have been reading this for a few days if you were really going through and like carefully scrutinizing everything for your however much Macworld cost in the early 90s. I remember taking a few days and I went through and I read like every word of all the Mac magazines I got back in the day, even though I didn't understand any of it. Oregon Trail, $50. Wagon Train 1848, $99. Also by MECC. That's interesting. Admittedly, I live in Oregon. Nice. Oh, sorry, it's getting late. Pretty late. Welcome to the 90s. We're running in the 90s now. The other thing, so neat. The 90 can read 44 meg discs as well. In fact, Bernoulli got upgraded over the years to 230 megabytes. The 230 drives can read all the way down to the 44 cartridges, which is really neat. I bet by then it's a lot more like practical. I need to see if I can go find when that was. Quark Express is a program designed for an artist's point of view. Have you ever seen Quark Express? Because I wonder what those artists were thinking. Equals some... What program is that? Oh, some other program. More Gantt charts. CD-ROM. $800 and $1,000 for CD drives. Oh, this is something different. I was like, Explorer? Is this the TI Explorer? It's not. It's a video card. Earl Weaver. Claris card. Oh, I see. Ashlar Vellum is not a real CAD program, they're saying. Design CAD is our newest. Amen. It's so interesting how many of these companies did in fact make everything. Look at all these drives. Jukebox. Oh! That's a floppy stacker. It hooks up to your Mac and works its way through a stack of up to 15 discs automatically. Yes, they can, Phi Sigma. That's another commonly cited advantage of magneto-optical is generally the newer, bigger drives can read the older, smaller discs. I don't think that's all the way back. Like a 1.3 gig mode drive might not be able to read 128 meg discs. Tech Fury 90 would know if he were here. This includes a disk backup software. So 1.4 meg disks were out at this time. That is definitely like 1/4 times 15. Like, here's your 20 megabytes, and I bet you could do that half an hour later, come back, and put in the next 15 disks. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Can I wonder. Nope, okay. Don't save that particular one. This is bad in the sense that I'd love to just copy the raw pixels out of the page, but I don't have Adobe on here. Gotta get you some Adobe star.star. Let's do this. Right control. Let's do this. Alt print screen. And then, sorry, I just have to, like, this is going on my Twitter. Okay, and then alt print screen. This is amazing, and I love it. Just, I've always wanted proof that one of those exists, and it does, and you could buy it. SE30, 2CX, 2CI, and 2FX. Oh, that's hilarious. Outstanding overheads. Color Master Plus. Printer. Orange 386. See this kind of stuff. Holy crap. You can literally, like, off to the side, you can just use the space from the hard drive bay and put in some extra slots. That's amazing. What is this the power supply? I'm not familiar with the inside of a Mac 2, so I don't know if that's a power supply or if that's more slots. 16 megabytes. It's PCIe, 386, SX16 or 20, 387. You can run Windows 3.0 on it. Man. See, like, that's enough performance. That's like a legit, you could just run that as a real PC. But man. Pacer Forum. Project Budget. Is this groupware? Ah! This is like a graphical forum software. I wonder if you can get that these days. That's beautiful. Is that a Kensington Turbo mouse? I didn't have one of these. The one I had was the Curtis MVP, which also used the same size balls. File transfer utility. What? No, where's that article? Mac to Mac. Runs in background, provides messaging capabilities, doesn't copy selected folders, only files. Caravelle. Mac Plus, Apple Talk Network. Oh. Okay. So, file copy and text phone. So basically, texting and file copies over Apple Talk. That's neat. I can see wanting that if you have a big Apple Talk network and you want to chat with someone. Text phone, answering machine for phone style, text communications, leave messages that you can read later. That's almost Power Talk. Okay, it is the power supply. Power. Is that a magneto-optical drive? It is! 650 megabytes. That's the other thing, V-Sigma. MO is only compatible within the same physical size, so 650 meg disk is probably a 525 versus 3 1/4. Or sorry, 3 1/2. Mac Project. SCSI info. Max Apple Zoom. Using 4-bit Apple Display card. That must be the Apple Display card 4, just idly. Try not to let your jaw hit the floor. You know the 3/4-inch black band around the perimeter of every monitor? MAZ eliminates it, filling every single pixel behind the glass with usable image. 704 by 512. That's the tool. That's amazing. This summer. Patch that brings 1.3. That's hilarious. It had a dead timer or something. Tektronix, we've never heard of them before. Microsoft, who the hell are they? New products. BLP, I know them. Character scanner. Lightning scan. GeoVista. Sketcher Plus. 20 nodes. Oh my god. Microsoft Mail for Apple Network. Microsoft Mail for Apple Talk Networks 3.0. I need this. I need it 100%. It probably only runs on like System 6 and System 7.0. Super Duper. Probably not by the same company that makes Super Duper now. Good to know that everyone likes that name. SPSS. That might be a DEC 3000. I don't see the front of mine, but that, if so, is an alpha computer. And, or a late VAX, I guess. Not VAX. Yeah, VAX. Anyway, point being, lots of extremely powerful stuff here, and then like a PC and a Mac. High-yield CDs. Data card. Mass. Data pack, this is almost certainly, yes, 45 and 88. Okay, those are SyQuest cartridges. They've been made generic by this time. Draw Pro. TI. Pacific Data Products. What is this? Oh, PostScript for laser printers. So you're feeling squeezed? Rental Electronics. Rent a PC or workstation from Genstar, Apple, IBM, Compaq, Toshiba, or Sun. Get the equipment overnight and keep it as long as you want. Imagine using state-of-the-art equipment with no obsolescence worries. Plus, you can expense rather than capitalize to take the pinch off of your battle sheet. I would get excited over a mail client. Fastest 3.5-inch erasable optical drive from Pinnacle Micro. Oreo 130. Ooh, 5 1/4 at only 130 megabytes. I wonder if that was separate from MO. Silhouette trackball. Mouse alternative. Lock button with LED. That's so spherically correct. No, I'm not gonna scroll back. That was an awful long time ago. But the thing to know about SPSS is that it runs on almost anything. It was developed on like System 370 or something like that, and it's been ported to everything under the sun. So it was probably a DEC thing, especially because I extremely recognize that front. And that front does not look like a PCAT. Okay, yeah, it kind of does actually. Never mind. Max Place. Mathematica, also ported to an awful lot of things. Which is like worth noting, like Mathematica and SPSS are like technical computing software. That's where they fall. So, yeah. Teleport, oh my gosh. A300 has the ADB power thing. Holy crap, it's just an ADB modem. I've never actually seen one of those. Okay. That's beautiful, and also bad. I'm just imagining, like, the way that they're doing it is emulating someone typing on a different device. It's beautiful. It's probably not what's happening, but I just want to imagine it. 7 is heaven. We're 7 savvy. 10T hub and MacCon plus Ethernet. That's amazing. Tiny power key. Our Mac wizards know System 7, which at this point was probably not really true. Customizing a FileMaker Pro database. Just gonna start insights on Illustrator. Yeah, see, this is like, here's how to do detailed work in Illustrator, which is real neat. Where to buy some stuff. A stand? It used to be a Mac Plus, but now it's a Micro Mac. Cute. Oh yeah, KidPix has been around forever. Actually, it's probably new-ish by then. HyperNet PhoneNet connectors, only 25 a pop. 10-pack, only 160 bucks. Which actually, that's a hell of a deal. At 25 a pop, you're talking about $250 for 10 of them. You get almost $100 off. 2SI color, $3,500 complete. 5x105. Standard keyboard. I don't know if that's Apple or another. Ikegami, 8-bit, 1000, 24-bit, 2000. Well, 1100, 2100. Macintosh systems and e-machines displays price to move. Wow. A Mac 2SI with 3 whole megs of RAM and a 16-inch monitor for $3,900. I wonder if that could really do 832 by 624. If it could, that could have been a really good deal. Depending, you know, if you wanted to do one thing at a time. Mactel. Direct slot. I see call. Yeah. $440, add 9 dot what? Weird, but okay. Peace of mind. Third wave. Canon Zapshot on its own, 430. Bundle with 24-bit frame grabber and 2-inch video diskette. $750 plus the diskettes. Nice. That's great. Data drive. Data drive 2, backup 1500. Yeah. Quick Express 500. Monitor 550. 340. I wonder if the 340 was a stock configuration somewhere. Just silently, I wonder what this sounds like. Yeah, I know, it's got that audio. You want Mac? You'll get 'em. Memory Direct. Mac outlet. Santa Fe Collection. Oh my gosh, that's a clip art advertisement. Yeah, that's great. On 3 discs. It's not even just clip art, it might be vectors. For 80 bucks, 3 diskettes. Hello. Sorry about the audio, everyone. I need to see what's going on with that, and I have a theory and I have a hypothetical solution, but it's a lot of effort and I need to go buy a cable, so. Oh yes, the Canon Zapshot has been discussed, TM, V Sigma. It is a video disc camera. It is really something. It is like, I'm just gonna click on this picture, like, yeah, it basically records NTSC images onto, you know, and I say this, Foon on Twitter has one, and he got it to work. So I don't know where, it sounds fine, but there's a lot of background, I think. It may not be that unbearable. It seems unbearable to me, like, thinking about how much is there, but VF50. Yeah, this stuff is so cute. There was a player, and Sony had some stuff, and there was, like, I want to say Panasonic had some stuff as well. Yeah, Canon also. Which makes sense because this is the Canon Zapshot. Anyway. Back to 91. So the Quadras 700 was not in here, which is sad. Micronet. Dat. 5 gigs. What were they doing? He got one of the cameras turned on, I thought. I didn't super look. I don't know if he, well, I'm sure he has one of the discs. He's got them running. I don't know if he's got them recording, which would be the big thing. Also, hello, Justin. I know your name from Gravis streams. Mirror. I'm basically scrolling through a magazine. The disc didn't know what it was for. Wait, I missed something. Oh. Yeah, it was a video floppy. I don't know, like, I don't really know an awful lot about them or what, like, the market is or anything like that. Kensington. Look at this, like, stand you could buy for a Mac 2. Nice. I saw that he liked it, but I'm not paying super close attention to my Twitters right now, which is my own fault. And now I'm just waiting. Okay, just want everyone to see this. Speaking of Foon, and speaking of clip art on floppies, business. So, that's really funny. Oh, that's bad. Okay, I'm gonna put that away and go back over here. 2CA. That's hilarious. And this kind of makes sense because Apple sold a monitor stand that was about that tall, so that must have been what was considered the ergonomic height. Yes, I think it'll be exciting when I'm having followed Foon and paid moderate attention to what he's doing. I'm sure he'll archive it. These stands remind me of the Apple monitors from 1999 or so, where you could put the keyboard under them. Only the small Apple keyboard, though. December. Anyway, the thing I was looking in October for was the Quadras because that's when they were announced, but there was a print delay, so they weren't actually available and like reviewed until a long time later. So let's just skip on down a little bit. See what else is in here. News, things, style writer, the essence of slow. I'm pretty sure I've read that article. They were talking about it being apocalyptically bad. Like, you might want to spend double to get something even a little faster. Bad. XL3, special report, new Max. Review, Radius Rocket. Oh, that would be interesting. WordPerfect Office 3. Michael's Draw 1. More After Dark. Oh, I think I saw the T-Rex up there. The Mac that has everything. Oh my god. Gift advice for Mac users. Published in December, probably received in January. Love it. That is excellent. Oh, they have a review of the Bernoulli 90. Okay, we're gonna go look at that as well. In fact, let me just, wait, let me just make a note here. 900, 130. Bernoulli 90 was... Who's calling me? Where'd it go? This is just so that I can remember, because I will absolutely forget. One. Classic 2 might actually have been worthwhile at this time. Oh, that might have been it. I haven't bought published, like, printed magazines in a long time, so I don't remember the cycle. But that would make sense that what we were looking at was actually, like, September's content. And realistically, if the October issue goes on sale in September, it was probably written in August at absolute latest. So, yeah. Love that print workflow. Was there anything up here that's worth looking at? Verbatim overhaul of the Apple scanner, the 8-bit Apple One scanner. Okay, let's just go to like 140. Okay, I'm not super interested in the PowerBooks right now. Power, but no pizzazz. They were boring. Aww. That's hilarious and sad. Don't qualify as true workstations. Well, no, because Apple wasn't trying for that, arguably. Ah, well, neither of them are pizzas. That would wait until the 605 and the 610 in like 1993. So good point. And the pricing, while not radical, reflects Apple's increased aggressiveness, 57 to 7700 for the 700, and 72 to 9200 for the 900. Since these prices include built-in Ethernet and 8-bit color video, each system has a price equivalent to or lower than a comparably equipped Mac 2CI or 2FX, respectively. That has been my argument basically all of today. And I don't know if you guys go on the Vintage Mac forum, but if you do, you might see that post at some point. This is the then new Apple 21-inch Macintosh color display. You know, you could probably fit like 4 pizzas inside the 900. And you could fit a few personal lonely pizzas for 1 inside the 700. This is the older 13-inch monitor. I think the 14-inch Mac color display would come later. Beer can feet. That's an adorable term. Twist key lock control for power. Probably because the 900 was the first to be designed with the intent of using it as a server. Both of them 25 megahertz. The tiniest beer. For taste only. Why are they faster? VRAM, RAM. This is a 700 motherboard. By the way, oh yeah, they are. They're not exciting. I mean, these are professional computers, not exciting computers. One of the discussions was about how evil Apple was for building an Ethernet and not a third new bus slot, or on the 900, a sixth one. I'm like, because the board was full. Actually, I have to credit TechFury90 for that one. Size benefits of the 900. More RAM on board. They wrote 356, but I'm sure they mean 256. Support for upgrading to 2 megabytes of video RAM. More Apple monitors. 2 SCSI chips. 3 5¼ inch half-height storage device. Taller new bus slots. Yeah, these things, this particular one, like, you can tell, basically, that they were going for a server with this. No other Mac had ever supported more than, like, one 5¼ inch hard drive. Look at how much faster they are than everything. Even the 2FX, even the low-end one. I also like that. The 950, pictured here, I think has a 5-disc tray available, and I think they're for 3.5 inch drives. I've never seen one. I've never had one of these. Growing pains. Oh, this is talking about, like, addressing and stuff. 5 watts of power. More than the entire PowerBook 140 draws, even with its display and disk running. Oh, that's amazing. And we're at the point today where we're talking about, like, bringing mainstream chips down from 95 watts to 65 watts in, like, the modern, you know, Skylake i7s, and the top one still is a 95 watt chip. So it's really funny to see this. Is this the power machine we want? Keep in mind, this is December 91. You would have been reading this in November. The machine was actually announced the previous month. Next had been using 040 since 88 or 89. So it's a great leap forward, but only for the Mac. No, not really. The 900 and 950 built-in video is pretty normal. It's not... It's 16 bits. Let's go look. You don't really want 16-bit video anyway. Like, you want it a little later on, but in 1990 and 1991, 8-bit is perfectly good. And by the time you're really looking at, like, using a Mavica or a QuickTake, you probably kind of want 24-bit. But 640x480 is enough, which these will do. Approaching that of the 824GC, 1 meg ROM, built-in video with DAFB, AUI, Super Drive, New Bus 90, sound input and output like those of the 2SI. Notably here, New Bus controllers over here, right? Ethernet is over here. Ethernet is not a New Bus device. In the 1900, that sounds... It might be. there's not an awful lot of impetus for them to market shenanigans in here. I can just, but they could have been. Get another Nubis controller chip. DAF B. I'm looking for the section on. Oh, it's probably down here a little bit. Oh look, it's an address space. Oh, look at that. New bus super slot space. Oh, here we go. 500. So 4 banks in the first 4 banks. 8 bits. 4 bits on 15 and 21. That's by default, so I might have been a little bit wrong. You can upgrade it to 8-bit on 21-inch monitors. Probably not too expensively. Here we go. So there's no 16-bit. I'm a little hesitant to say that it matters. It's weird, but I don't think it matters. Case. So vertical, wow. Anyway, back to December. Pipelining. Ooh. Oh. Just, it's the price. 4 and a floppy for 5,700. Oh. Add an 80, 6,400. 160 for 7,000. A very fast 400 meg drive for $7,700. 900 with 4 and a floppy equals 7,200. 160, 8,500. 400 megabytes. So 400, 9 Quadra 900 is $9,200. Wow. Classic 2, improving on a theme. I wouldn't mind having a Classic 2. They look like they're cute little machines. Oh, I thought that said Performa. It wouldn't be until like 1992 that they introduced it as a Performa. Vogue. Chip puller. Dear editors. Okay. Let's go look at that Bernoulli. 190. Yes, there's Accountant Baby again. Cows. $39 for a CD-ROM of About Cows. It looks like you got some text files and 32 illustrations. They aren't related to each other. Unlock. You know, I don't know. I want to say the 650 and 800 had it. Yeah, but the thing is, V-Sigma, 256 colors looks good in System 7. It's not bad. The 950 from 1992? So everyone being all like, oh, 256 color, it was fine. It was the standard at this time. Like, I don't think that you're missing out on anything by using 8-bit color but not 16-bit color in general. But like, even with a Mavica, honestly, I'm a little skeptical of like a hardware revision. What do you mean? Adobe for $20. Type library. Good job. Wait, where did that drive go? Did I just scroll right on past it? I did? There it is. 1150. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these machines had, like, little revisions like that. That's a pretty visible one, but it's like, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some kind of, like, well, hell, there's the various LCs and Performas, and whether or not, you know, what their line on the floppy drive looks like. So, the Snow White line. Final spin. Tries it doesn't ship with a cartridge. To send in your registration, and iOmega returns a cartridge containing shareware programs and files. It's frustrating to be unable to use the drive right out of the box. Need to be cleaned occasionally, so you also need to buy a separate cleaning cartridge. That's good to know. Close to the list price of the 88 Cyclus units, extra 90 meg cartridges are $230 each, only in packs of 3. Oh, that hurts. So that means you're definitely looking at like 230 times 3, 600, 700 bucks. Ouch. Ouch, that hurts. Each time you want to expand this thing, which admittedly was portable, so that's nice. It's a dual 50 pin, selection, .90 unit is much quieter. The only thing I can think of on that is maybe if they found out people weren't happy with how the sound was playing, especially as multimedia started to become important. I think the Classic 2 was sold for a few years, like into like 1993. That might have been it. I don't know how much sound you could realistically get out of it. It's an 030, but not the fastest one ever, so eh. That was kind of it for this one. Mac Globe. I remember when RePC up in Tuckwell had like 1 million copies of this. StatView, Masters, AOL. It's a plain food. Just feel like, is there anything else in here that's good? I feel like these are extremely tedious. 128 megabyte read write. Oh, it is 3.5 inch. 1,500 bucks. $99 each for the cartridges. This might have been a better deal than the weird LC3s with the top case. Yeah, there's some different things going on with LCs, and there's also some like LC2s that have like weird logos and stuff. I don't know, this is some stuff. QMS. Wait, what was that? Firstly, what was that? Okay. You get Kiwi computers. Nice. Classic 240, 1159. Shreve Systems, 1991. 2FX with no RAM for $3,900. That's amazing. And by amazing, I mean probably only worthwhile if you already have like a 2 or a 2X, and it's like, well, I can either buy the kit from Apple or I can go get, you know, this. 178 Maxter. What was I looking for? I saw something exciting, and I can't. Was it this? This is discs. Sequest. I don't remember. Oh, Fujitsu. QMS. What is that? Either it'll come up again and I'll not be able to scroll back up to it, or it won't. I don't know, it was probably a storage thing. Let's be real. And one of the more interesting things about like the beige Mac ecosystem as it exists from like 1987 or 88 all the way out to 1998 is that SCSI and ADB and the video connector stayed the same the entire time. If you bought a 20-inch monitor in 1990, you heckin' kept it until your beige G3 was done. And if it was a multi-sync, like, you know, if you bought your 20-inch monitor in 1994 with the multiple scan, which I'm literally using right here, you may as well have kept it until you might still have it. But you probably kept it until LCDs were reasonable in the G4 era or the G5 era, just depending. Kind of depending on what stuff you were doing and how important color accuracy was and stuff like that, because I have no doubt that this monitor is totally not color accurate anymore. It's just not. More Kensington stuff. Your desk just got bigger. Master stand. This one stand can hold anything. Classic. Yeah. July 92. To get the most out of this box, get this box. Black and white monitor. Portrait and 2 PDs. Spreadsheets. Page to pixel. Oh, that's interesting. Home office. Plinth. Thunder 7. Diva video. Let's go to the 950 stuff, and that's probably all we really need to look at from this one. Monochrome monitors a year later might be interesting to look at, so we'll go 1.3, 1.45, and see. There's that modem. 137. Oh, we're way. Okay. House. Power user. That's cute. Huh? Works with 19-inch and can display thousands of colors, 16-bit on all sizes of color monitors. 8 megs of RAM. In some European countries, 4 is installed. A high-performance 230 meg drive supersedes the 160 as the smallest drive Apple bundles. Floppy-only configuration is still available. That's hilarious. I realize that's not what this is for, but I'm definitely imagining someone booting System 7 off of a single floppy and, like, using this monster with 8 megs of RAM for literally text edit and nothing else. VRAM, 8 megs of RAM, 33 megahertz 040. New board has some higher performance silicon. $9,200 for the 400 meg hard drive still. Or beneath the skin. Upright cabinet, 3-position lock. 4 disk compartments at the top. 2 face the front. 2 rear-facing compartments. 1 full height driver, 2 half height. Maybe the 5-disc tray was a 9150 thing. Dan will probably know. Dan has had 900s and 950s. How fast is it? Lots. Look at how fast that is. Those graphs prove it. I also like, look at the drive not improving an awful lot. That's normal. Paying for the 950 upgrade will hurt. Do they say? The upgrade package for $3,600. Ugh. Oh, Uh, 5-disc tray for 900, 950, 9150, or AWGS 95. Do you know where it was? Like which machines had it? Or did I just dream it into existence? I may have dreamed it into existence. Please keep in mind that. Quadra Quandary. AUX. You can also run AUX 3 on the 950. When words aren't enough. Well, let's go back. Sleeps much better now that Apple has finally upgraded the Quadra 900 to 950, but he still dreams about owning one. Haha. Scuzzy 2. Oh, I see. Faster Scuzzy in the 950. Okay. 5-disc. Yeah, I don't know. What do you mean, Phi Sigma? The 950 is the perfect size for your casual bedroom organ trail box. I don't know what you're talking about. Also, I admit Oh, that's right. I happen to have a house, and I have a few spaces in it, so I have some room to leave things set up. Apple portrait display. Ooh. Ouch. Has the weakest image quality of the portrait monitors tested, as did Apple's recently discontinued 21-inch Apple monitor, one of the highest prices. Ooh, that hurts. But is probably very, very true. Which is really interesting because we all remember Apple's monitors as being extremely good. So I a little bit wonder, like, how true that really is and stuff. Multiple, oh my gosh. This is from when multi-sync was new. And only barely worked. 30s, oh my gosh. It's not even like they're talking about it in terms of DPI. That's amazing. Okay. That's that. Kinda wanna see next on the agenda. Reprint. I got this from Archive earlier, and it appears that it won't open? It didn't totally crash. We can just open up January 1981 from here. You know, now I'm just imagining using, like, connects to hold in a whole bunch of discs inside a 950. And then, like, taking advantage of the dual SCSI buses and being all like, oh, look, here's another. And just, like, empty out a 2CI case or something and put, like, 7 3.5-inch hard disks in it. It's kind of a neat idea. TBH. January 91. John Scully, Warrior King. Okay. We'll think about that. I've thought about it, and I think it's fake. What was I looking for? 160. These do look nice. Next. Look at that. Color. 3 new systems promised to These would have been introduced in '89, and I bet they already have 040s. Oh, I love the way this giant monitor looks. It might be the same monitor that's over here, but from this angle it just looks really good. Low end, 5,000. The quotations around low end probably aren't needed. Going less than a bare 2 CI box. The next station, along with the features. Yeah. Next had extremely compelling prices if you look, ew. And by ew, I mean I almost want a G5. We're almost to that point. It's bad. 1120 by 832. Oh, I see. The monitor was $1,000. Yeah, this is an extremely compelling deal, especially before the Quadras came out. 8 megs, 105 meg disk, 25 megahertz 040, FPU, MMU, DSP if you can use it. So much RAM, giant monitor, good keyboard mouse, 2.88 meg diskette for $5,000. The trouble is software. If you can hold on to that until summer, I'll take it. Next dimension. 4 megs of dedicated video RAM and 32 megs of frame buffer. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm still planning on going east, by the by, so... and as far as I know, the only other specific thing is the 6220 from Ian. Ah, yes. Gonna get myself a 6200. It's gonna be great. I like how to keep it fair. They're like, oh, clearly you're gonna compare the Mac 2 CI to a color next station with 12 megs of RAM, a color monitor, separate soundbox pricing, and it still comes out looking pretty good, although even, and you get a pretty bad color monitor, 4 megs of RAM, 030, no FPU, no cache. Yes, that's what the soundbox is the monochrome monitor is specially engineered for the machine, so it comes with all the sound input output, and the keyboard connector is actually in the monitor. This is an extremely Steve Jobs play, by the way. I'm surprised Apple did it in '94 with the Audio Vision, because it's very a Steve Jobs thing to do, is single cable from the monitor to the computer, and the cable was like 12 feet long. I think there might have been a short version, but you could get a long one. And then most of the user I/O was actually on the monitor, which is kind of nice. 2FX versus Nextcube. And you can see, look at that, $28,000, $10,000. This is going to be list prices. I'm extremely glad I looked at this. 10,880. Okay, so they are factoring in RAM upgrades, which is nice. I don't know if this brings you to 16 total or if it brings you to 24, but 6360 would be nice. Honestly, here's my theory. 6200, not that bad, especially if it's 1995 and it's your first computer and it was only $2,000 and it included a bunch of CD-ROMs and a modem and a nice monitor, which they did, the Multiscan 15, and a keyboard and a mouse and a printer, and it was honestly going to be a usable system. There, I said it. As if no one oh wow, Corey said a controversial thing he's never said before, right? Oh, that's interesting. They do, here's the total price for a monochrome system. And then they say, like, quick, let's sub out color stuff. Oh, I see. Next dimension, 32. Oh. Thus, getting rid of all your slots anyway. The thing I want is a 6500/300. Like, after my 6200. Because then I'll have an 8600/300 and a G3/300, and I just want a 603/300 as well. Yeah, let me go say. Oh, he was just leaving. Missing in action 2. And aren't be glad. Apple stock. Developers. This is interesting. It's complaining about Apple doing badly. That's kind of awesome. Why not a house for selling a Mac? Apple computer. Okay, if a speech on the 5260 will still only run 640x480. Oh. Yes, you can, Dan. I don't care as much specifically, like, about getting a desktop machine. Actually, for a 6500/300, I'd kind of like it to be a tower, so that I could put the 6500, the G3, and the 8600 all next to each other. That'd be nice. Oh, of course Apple advertised about is living the dream. Hilarious. Too. I mean, I've never seen one in person. I had a 6500 225. In retrospect, I almost wish I kept it, but I traded it to get my 7300 back. So, what you gonna do, right? Random man. It's been 2.5 hours. So of course you have. And of course you've also had a 5300/300. Anyway. What else is here? Was there anything good here? Mac TV. I think we should hold off and I should go to bed. Hitting. You know, I'd take a 6400 if one popped up. Super interestingly, something where it's yes, the 5000 that you had, sure. The fun is back. Welcome back, fun. I like just randomly 2006, 16. Like that feels too new. 2015, I would say you could probably argue. Australia, ooh. That is dangerous. Pictures, LC3, 605, new face. The fastest Macs yet. Imagine it being like the 90s. And for most of the 90s, you can just every 3 months you can go, the fastest Macs yet are here, and I just wonder how that felt. Why they did it. Why'd you do it? Now featuring Mac User. Which inexplicably, like, was basically, for at least a year, like, a magazine in a magazine, basically. I'm pretty sure. I might have to download that and already have it set up. Anyway, I'm looking over there because that's where the stream is. I'm gonna go. Have a good evening. Miss this? Potentially serious viewing issues. Okay. Yeah, I need to fix my thing too. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now. Zero drop frames. Okay.